First up in today's roundup of cybersecurity tech news, a light-hearted hack brought to you by Anonymous. Hacktivists gained unauthorized access to the Chinese government's polar research website, and they decorated it with flags and memes. We've got the Anonymous logo, the Taiwan #1 meme, solid meme, one of my favorites. Anonymous also posted some historical Chinese flags. As I understand it, these are from the pre-communist era. There's also 3 embedded YouTube videos which won't display in the Wayback Machine for whatever reason, but by pulling these out of the source, I found one is Taiwan's national anthem, another is a very catchy anti-communist song which dates back to the early 50s, and then there's a song called Fragile. It's sung in Mandarin, and this song has become a bit of a meme in East Asia because it satirizes the politics of Taiwan and makes fun of how pro-CCP people get so wound up and triggered by the smallest of transgressions against the Chinese government. One example being the banning of a Winnie the Pooh film in China after people started commenting on the uncanny resemblance between President Xi and Winnie the Pooh. It would seem Anonymous just gained the ability to create a blog post on the website, as opposed to root access to the entire website itself. As a guess, I imagine they compromised the credentials of an author on the site, someone with permissions to publish blog posts. And after translating the header for this post, it says the project's leader for this post is one Zhao Xinjian. Perhaps this is the name of the guy they hacked. Scrolling down, Anonymous brings up the Ukraine crisis and makes some suggestions about how to prevent full-blown World War III. If you want to read more into that, I'll link the archive to this hacked page below, as Eastern European geopolitics isn't really my forte, and none of this reads like particularly original ideas. I only learned of this hack from the hacking subreddit, as it wasn't really covered in Western media at all, but I suppose that's not too surprising because it was a really niche website that was hacked, China's Polar Research Institute. Since the hack, the whole website has been taken 100% completely offline. Android is getting a 2G kill switch, allowing users to disable 2G at the modem level on their phones. And I know what you're thinking, Satonic, who cares? I haven't used 2G in about a decade anyway. A kill switch to turn it off is something that I just have no use for. Besides, 2G infrastructure is being dismantled as we speak, if it hasn't already been torn down. Well, that's kind of missing the point. The fact that modern phones even support 2G is a big security problem, and bear with me here because this needs some explaining. Research published last year analysed the encryption that 2G uses. This encryption is proprietary, by the way, it's not publicly available. The researchers were only able to carry out this analysis because they were given the algorithms by an anonymous source. The researchers found that 2G in some cases uses 40-bit encryption to protect communications. By modern standards, this encryption might as well not even be there, because an attacker can passively intercept traffic like SMSs and then just decrypt them on the fly. Using 2G is like downgrading your Wi-Fi to WEP, you'd be a fool to think it'll protect you. And it gets somewhat worse. With 2G, there is no authentication between a mobile phone and a cell tower, so anyone could set up their own 2G cell tower and the phone would happily connect to it. A fake cell tower could even downgrade communications to GEA1. This is that encryption standard which uses 40 bits. So as you can see, 2G, it's a bit of a mess. Whilst it may still be actively used in developing countries, the rest of the world has no use for it. It's one of those lingering legacy technologies that many of our phones still support. Until now, kind of. The option to turn it off only exists on newer Android phones like a Pixel 6. Older Android phones simply don't support the controls needed, and no lock on iPhones, no kill switch for you guys. Usually state-sponsored hacks I cover on this channel relate to some kind of espionage. Typically it's intelligence gathering, but you've got some sabotage sprinkled in there as well. However, North Korea is the only country which really focuses on financially motivated hacks. When you're one of the most economically sanctioned countries in the world, you gotta make money somehow. And a new report reveals how North Korea stole nearly $400 million worth of crypto last year alone. That's up from $300 million in 2020, and whilst 2018 was a pretty good year for them, that seems to have been a one-off. However, the general trend is on the up, and these numbers are all the more impressive when you realise North Korea's GDP is less than $20 billion, so $400 million represents a pretty decent chunk of income for Kim's regime. And notice the line on the graph here, all this cash originates from just a handful of hacks. Last year, only 7 cyber attacks produced this pot of gold. Now, North Korea isn't spraying a low-grade phishing emails. They're using very targeted and advanced techniques to pull off heists, each worth tens of millions of dollars. They typically target investment firms and cryptocurrency exchanges. One example being in August of last year, when North Korean-linked hackers managed to swipe $91 million worth of crypto from the cryptocurrency exchange Liquid.com. After the heist, they laundered the money by exchanging it for other coins, then they mixed it before likely selling it on an Asian exchange. As well as cashing out after their Ws, North Korea is also playing the long game. Currently, they're sitting on $170 million worth of unlaundered coins. That represents the takings from 49 separate hacks spanning from 2017 all the way to 2021. I can only guess they're hodling, hoping that their coins will one day moon. And who knows what happens to all that cash they steal? A UN report says it's used to fund North Korea's weapons of mass destruction program, and the full report on North Korea's crypto dealings by Chainalysis is really a pretty interesting read, and I'll link it in the description if you want to learn more.
This video is sponsored by Linode, who are giving you $100 worth of free cloud computing. Linode is a totally customizable cloud hosting platform. Whether you're looking to quickly spin up a VPN, website, or host a Kubernetes cluster, Linode has you covered. If it runs on Linux, it'll run on Linode. Linode just announced availability of their NVMe block storage, the first alternative cloud provider to officially support this state-of-the-art hardware at no extra cost to their customers. Linode's philosophy is to focus on providing all the tools a developer really needs at competitive prices. Use the link in the description now to claim your free $100.
You know the drill, shoot me a like for the YouTube AI and follow me on Instagrams for behind the scenes contents. And I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.